pleasant afternoon to you. Welcome to the program Nigerian Now, where we talk about everything Nigeria and how it concerns us as Nigerians. My name is Sarah Elisha Dasham, and I will be doing the program together with Rachel Tansey. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Afternoon, Sarah.
All right, remember we're live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can follow us live there and also drop your comment on any of the issue we shall be bringing to the table today, and then let us hear what your own feedback is concerning this. And we will be looking at the issue of NEMET. They have actually issued another fresh alert, and then also we'll be looking at INEC and the 3 states that will be having off-season election. And we'd like to start with the first, which is the alert, flood alert again,
Yes,
a fresh flood alert. We will recall that earlier in about April or so, or even from last year, we've been having flood alert coming from Neiman, coming from NIMET, and the rest of them, giving us the fact that there will be flood, and then people should prepare. For those who are living in the lowlands, they should leave, vacate the premises, go somewhere else. And then we even saw where the president was saying that state governors should come together and actually provide a way out so that those who are actually living in areas that are prone to flood should actually leave. And this cast the mind of a lot of Nigerians back to, you remember when we had the issue of flood last year that actually delayed the coming in of petrol, even marketers complained, and then we had even causing like say destroying quite a number of farmlands. We heard farmland, like I think the rice plantation in Nasarawa State, and quite a number of farmlands have been affected. And then we're seeing another alert coming in, and the rain is meant to last for 48 hours starting from today. And then they mentioned quite a number of states that will be affected. Over from the FCT, we have Plateau State, we have Niger. Over 25 states will be affected. So this is really an alert. I would say that the alert is becoming too much, but I think it is very, very important that Nigerians, rest of their local government areas that will be affected especially, should take all of this warning seriously. In fact, they even mentioned the fact that not only are we going to be having flood, but it will be accompanied with wind. So that is to say that for those who have electric appliances, should disconnect before the rain, not while the rain is falling. And then for those who know that their house is not on a solid rock, they need to look for a way out of it, leave the premises before the house will, collapse with them in need. And then quite a number of things when you look at the issue of flooding and then how it has affected lives and properties in Nigeria over the years.
When it comes to flooding in Nigeria, like for over the years now, it's more than 1 year, we've had warning concerning flooding since 2021, warning that there will be more flood 2022, and there will be more flood from last year. We're being told the rains will come early, they'll be heavier, and all of that is going to last longer, and then we are seeing it now and all of that. Now, I don't have a problem with the alert because it is very important. And just as you said, we can't say it's too much. Okay, a flood alert can never be too much because this is a disaster that, okay, if something is being done about it, the damage could be less. Yes, exactly. However, this is where I have my concerns, that the only thing we've been hearing is just the alert. It's just the warning. However, we are not seeing actions either from NIMED nor from NEMA. Nobody is. You're just telling people there's going to be more flood, there's going to be more flooding. However, what have you put? What are the structures you've set to help these people that are prone to these flooding? For example, when you tell people to evacuate, you're supposed to, as the government, step in, because this is something that these people can do little or nothing for themselves. They can't go and start knocking on people's house and saying, my land is flood prone, can I squat with you for a while? Why are we not having the government of Nigeria, when it comes to this state, you knew it 2 years before that there will be more flooding in the years to come. When you are telling people to evacuate, why are you not building temporary places for them as the government, for them to be able to find shelter? We've seen that this rain will be for over 5 days or so. Why is the government of this state, even at the state level and the federal level, not saying, okay, you know what, we have created these areas for flood, for people living in flood prone area, that when the season comes, you will be able to find temporary shelter in this place. Secondly, we are seeing that what are these higher ground sellers? because I keep saying it, you tell them to leave this place and nobody is showing us where the higher grounds are. I need to be able to come, the government needs to be able to come to Rayfield, for example, and say, this area is flood prone. People should be able to move to this place. If you're evacuating, if you're buying land, be able to say you should be at this place or you shouldn't be at this place. I am not seeing that happening in any way, and that's why I feel it's just a lot and a lot and a lot, but I am not seeing the necessary things that are supposed to be put in place, because you are the officials. For example, we have NEMA, we have NIMET. What are you telling people to do when they come to evacuate? For example, you need to tell them to off their electricity, or even if they might not be, you need to tell the power holding companies at that time,
for this period of
for
time.
this period of time, let there be no electricity for this period of time. Tell people what to pack when they have to evacuate, because you will see people packing things they don't need. Tell people, okay, for survival, if you're living for flood and all of that, these are the things you need to take with you, and these are the things you don't need to take with you. And then over the years, like, one thing I know is for sure, Sele, permit me, I'm talking too much concerning this flooding, is because it's not only in Nigeria. That's one thing. There is climate change, and we see world leaders in every summit that goes on. Yes,
addressing the same
exactly,
issue,
addressing the same. Be it COP28, be it the UNJ that just finished, and even the last one that just happened, where G20 summit, and even in the United Nations, for example, as General Assembly that took place. Climate changes are one of the things that they keep talking about, and one thing that I'm saying that we are not supposed to do we are supposed to do and we are not supposed to do. And I wonder, why are we not taking examples from these countries, because everybody is finding the issues of flood, is that you create water storage by force. You create them because you know what, this water don't have anywhere to go to. They are swallowing houses. You create water storage. This is one thing that over the years we could have done as a country. Secondly, is channeling back this water to where they're supposed to, because over the years they've left their waterways, they've left the riverways. Why are we not doing the things that we can do to be able to curtail flooding or reduce the impact, or be able to manage it in the process? And I believe that this is what I want to see the Nigerian government doing, not just the warning, the warning, the warning. What are the active preventive measures with the flood, and then to prevent more of the flood from happening that we are supposed to do? What are those things that we are not doing? And I believe that this is where I need to know that the government is really wanting to do something about flooding in Nigeria.
You know, Richard, you rightly stated the fact that it's more like it's just a lip service we keep having going in and one and no work. And then I am more concerned the fact that most of this flooding is always affecting those in the rural areas who have no idea what happened at the G20 meeting, who had no idea what the summits are all about. All they want to know is, what should I do better? And we will say this over and over, Richard, whenever we talk about flooding, the fact that even some of the human factors, what we do, talking about erosion and then the likes of it, illegal mining is one of those things that have actually created roads that are not supposed to be water channel. And then we know the way water is, that eventually if water do not get a way or a channel to pass, it will create a channel for itself, because it has no limit, or it has no way that you can stop it force. And so, just like you have said, we are waiting for proactive measures coming from the government. What should these people take? What should they not take? How should they do it? For right now, part of the warning that is coming is the fact that people should avoid the road, because during those times the road can be extremely slippery. And then when you see water flowing, do not follow it, because there are underneath currents that are actually pushing this water through. You might feel like my car is actually strong enough, I can drive through it, and then before realizing your car is being channeled somewhere it shouldn't be. So these are the, will I say, simple steps that Nigerians want to hear, beyond just telling us to leave this place. What should we do? How should we go about certain things? And I think this will go to a long way to actually help Nigerians, just in case. Well, we hope with all of this we're saying right now, Richard, it will help Nigeria to prepare for the next year. Just like you said, having water storage and all of those things will be very, very important. Even though it might look like we have a lot on our plate, but I believe that the government really want to fight this, then we can. Now, before we actually round up, I think it's important we talk about the politics that is going on presently. We are going to be having offshore season election in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi State. And INEC is coming out to actually, talk about the fact that they are security threats to the poll come November 11th. The date has already been said. INEC is trying all it can. Stakeholders are even telling them they should make sure that this election is credible, it's free, it's fair. But a lot of Nigerians have expressed fear. In fact, INEC came out to state the fact that a lot of people do not even want to apply for ACOC staff,
Yes.
especially in places like Imo State that we have registered, Imo and Kogi State, where we've registered, insecurity, violence coming in
True.
left, right, and center. Bayelsa is really not a problem to INEC, but then the likes of Kogi, because looking at some of the campaigns, there have been violence and all of these. And right now, INEC is even concerned that they are short of staff to actually conduct the election. And I think this is important because lessons are supposed to be picked from the election we had in February and also in March to tell INEC this is what is supposed to be done. This is not what is supposed to be done eventually. They are going to be having a mock accreditation for the beavers. Of course, Nigerians will remember what happened during the RF and the beavers, where we had some of the staff not credible enough. Some of them don't even know how to operate the beavers. They actually needed help of some of the people who came in. So I think it's imperative right now that the INEC should try all it can. If it needs additional hands coming from security agencies, they should apply for them early enough, because I do not think Nigerians are ready to take any excuse again coming from INEC why election was either marred by irregularities or marred by violence, or we've seen bylaw snatching and all of that. So if INEC have actually seen that this is a problem they're having now, I think they have about a month or two to November 11th to actually rectify all of this thing. And then we are hoping to see the election is free and fair in these 3 states.
Yes, Sele. I mean, we've been thriving through insecurity for years now in the country, Sele. And then I believe that when it comes to insecurity, this is nothing new for INEC. But then what I want to see INEC is not just throwing insecurity as a problem, because we had the general election amidst insecurity. We had majority of the states in the country having elections amid insecurity. These are states that are known to clearly have Boko Haram, to have Fulani herdsmen, to have every kind of form of insecurity in those states, and then they have been able to have elections. And then I'm not trying to undermine insecurity, but I believe that INEC has a particular kind of insecurity that is special to them, and this is where I need them to sit down and see, because what is that kind of insecurity that is unique to INEC is probably hijacking of election materials, burning down of INEC offices, exactly, kidnapping ad hoc staff, core members, and then the INEC officials themselves. And then when you look at these insecurity issues that are particular to INEC, then this is where I believe that INEC need to make sure that it doesn't repeat itself again. So you make sure that your ad hoc staff, it's not surprising, Sele, that we are having ad hoc staff that don't want to do it, because when you see the money and you look at your life, you realize that is not what the rigs in a lot of ways. And then for a lot of people, it is their job, so they have to do it. But if I'm giving the option to have to volunteer, then I might not. And I believe that that's where the ad hoc staff come. And also, apart from security, payment is one of the reasons that these ad hoc people who they need to sign up for as ad hoc staff are not, because we've seen complaints in the past. We've had phone calls in the past general election and even the Guba elections where we had a caller saying that they are yet to be paid where they served as ad hoc staff. So these are some of the factors aside from insecurity. So if these are the reasons that INEC are having, or these are the challenges they have for ad hoc staff particularly, then you do something about it. Then you make sure it doesn't repeat itself. And then concerning security, you focus on where you know that the attacks could be more for you. I'm not saying that the country is not safe at large, but there are particular kind of insecurity issues that is unique to INEC, and this is where I'm looking forward to INEC addressing it. And then I think one of the reasons, because I know we see INEC people having distrust in whether they will be able to have a credible election. You know why that happened. You know why when the next election took place was voter apathy and all of that. Then work with that. Make sure by all means that your election is very free, fair, and transparent, and then deliver to the people what you promised to deliver. And I believe that that is particularly live transmission on the IREF portal of election results in Imo State, in Bayelsa, and then in Kogi State. If INEC is able to pull this through, regardless of how few these states are, I believe the next elections that will follow, we will be able to have some trust in them and say perhaps trial and error didn't work out well for presidential election, and then the other Guba elections that happened earlier this year, but then INEC are retracing their steps, and we are sure that they can be able to do better for us as a country when it comes to election.
True. You know, you mentioned the fact that a lot of people are concerned about the outcome of election. Like, for example, that of the Imo State, I think it has been on the peak for INEC because it's one of those states that the issue of the IPOB, the issue of burning of material is actually top. In fact, we have local government areas that there are no residents over there completely because of insecurity. I remember when there was one time we saw it on the papers where the resident of a particular local government were complaining and calling on the governor to come to their aid, and they are quite concerns are coming up from the fact that there are certain governors that are forcing themselves on the people. The people have had enough of them. There are states that there have been no election for the past 4 years ever since the governor was on seat. So you will tell that there are quite a lot of fears coming from the residents of particular states, and no wonder people are feeling, if this place is insecure, we are not sure that we can come out. But just like if INEC have actually pointed out, and that is really their concern, then I believe that INEC should put their hands together with security agencies to do all that they can to make sure that there is no threat to the election, because election is just to show us the fact that democracy is actually established eventually. So we hope that for those who are perpetrating even all of that, security agents will be able to get up with them, even though we had concern. We saw where some of our security agents were even killed in Imo State. So you would tell that even the security agents at a point like this need more intelligence, need more arms to be able to fight the people who are causing unrest in these various states. So we believe that this state will be peaceful. And then for places like Kogi, where we are having violence, around the campaigns and all of this, there should be a round table where we see all these political parties calling their faithfuls, calling their followers to actually, if you want to campaign, remember we said that during the presidential election, if you want to come out to campaign peacefully, but do not incite any evil in the heart of anybody. Do not incite violence. Do not incite anything that will make people to turn against each other. I keep telling people, don't get involved in the fight of these politicians. Eventually, you will get burned, and nobody will be there to actually cut out for you eventually. So it is important that youth should not allow themselves to be used as perpetrators of evil or causing any unrest during the election. It's just a way to show that we truly want this person. And I believe that if everybody will follow the guidelines that will lead to this election, INEC will be able to record success. So I know the eyes of everybody right now is going to be on these polls very soon, come November 11. Everybody will be waiting to be sure that we don't have issues of saying IREF is not actually having the result, beavers are not working, there's any technical glitches whatsoever. I think this is not what Nigerians want to hear. Lessons should have been picked from the presidential election. So we hope to see more proactive measures, and we hope that they'll be able to rectify whatever insecurities that have mirrored the election in the past and that will not affect this election. Well, Richard, I think this is how we have to cap it off for today. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you also to our followers for always keeping a date with us on Nigeria Now. Until we come here again tomorrow, do have a blessed day ahead.